Hi, it's Kevin Lobates here, and today I thought I'd talk a bit about an interesting quote that I first read about 5 years ago, but that cropped up again in a news article I was reading this morning, namely one from Satoshi Nakamoto, where he says, imagine gold that when stolen by a thief turns to lead, and if returned to the rightful owner, returns back to being gold. Quite an intriguing quote. Obviously, with gold, if it's stolen, it remains gold, and there's really no question of a thief returning it, unless they're looking for amnesty. But in the digital currency world, you can change transactions. For example, in Ethereum, after the DAO hack, they actually rolled back a week worth of transactions in order to recover some of the funds based on a fairly mutual consensus. That's why you had the Ethereum Classic split. About 20% disagreed with this rollback. Anyway, so back to the original idea. The idea there is that if a thief steals your bitcoins, there's a way of saying, hey, that wasn't a legitimate transaction, and it effectively freezes the coins unless the thief then sends them back to the original owner, at which point they can go back to spending them as if they own them, because they do actually own them. I don't think it's actually possible, because there's no objective way within the hermetic world of the Bitcoin ledger of determining what constitutes a valid or invalid transaction. And the last thing Bitcoin wants is the possibility of people being able to change their mind after having sent the coins to someone. The whole point of the Bitcoin ledger is that the transactions are irreversible. I did, back in 2015, submit an invention idea to my then employer, which they did file a patent on. I'll have to go and check how that's doing. Haven't seen it issued, so I'm guessing it's been abandoned. After thinking about this gold to lead to gold idea, I came to the conclusion that it wasn't going to work for theft, but I did come up with a similar solution for dealing with error transactions. So that's where you accidentally send your bitcoins to the wrong address, and the probability is that the wrong address will be an address that nobody owns, and therefore we're never going to know the private key for it. And the idea in that invention was that you have timestamps on all transactions, or rather, you have timestamps on transactions where you're sending coins to somebody else. And if they don't then move the funds out into a new address within a certain amount of time, the coins go back to you. And this solves things like accidentally sending bitcoins to the Bitcoin address that's associated with the private ECDSA key of 0. Programmers occasionally make an error, produce an address from key 0 because they didn't initialize a variable, and any bitcoin sent to that public bitcoin address can never be redeemed, because you can't use the private key 0 to sign anything. The idea there was basically that if the coins are not redeemed, then they revert back. As I said, I don't think that it's possible to reverse thefts in any kind of sensible automatic way, but what it is possible to do, if one day they feel like implementing it, is to reverse transactions that were done in error. Anyway, there you go, a short video on Nakamoto's quote about what if gold could be turned to lead automatically if it was stolen. Hope you found this interesting, and see you soon in the next video. Bye for now.